Assalamu alaikum students. Today we are going to see Geography Unit 2, 2.3 Distribution of Rainfall. The average annual rainfall of India is 118 centimeter, 118 centimeters. But in India, all the states were not receiving the even rainfall, even distribution of the rainfall. There is the highly uneven distribution of rainfall we are receiving in our country. For example, we can take western coast. It is receiving more rainfalls, 200 centimeters rainfalls. At the same time, Mumbai, western coast areas, the Kerala, it's all receiving 200 centimeter rainfall, more than 200 centimeter rainfalls. And at the same time, below 50 centimeter rainfall also in our states we are receiving. That states are, for example, Rajasthan. And at the same time, 100 to 200 centimeters also there. It's of Tamil Nadu. So, the west coast, Assam, South Meghalaya, Tripura, Nagaland and Arunachal Pradesh are the heavy rainfall areas which get more than 200 centimeter rainfall. The whole of Rajasthan, Punjab, Haryana, western and southern western part of Uttar Pradesh, western Madhya Pradesh, the entire Deccan Trap or Plateau region east of Western Ghats, except for a narrow strip along Tamil Nadu coast, receive a low rainfall of less than 100 centimeter. The rest of the areas receive a rainfall ranging between 100 and 200 centimeter. Natural vegetations. Natural vegetations refers to a plant community unaffected by man, either directly or indirectly. It has its existence in certain natural environment. Natural vegetations include all plant life forms such as trees, bushes, herbs and forbs, etc. that grow naturally in an area and have been left undisturbed by humans for a long time. Climate, soil and landform characteristics are the important environmental controls of natural vegetations. On the basis of the above factor, the natural vegetation of India can be divided into following types: tropical evergreen forest, tropical deciduous forest, tropical dry forest, desert and semi-desert vegetation, mountain or montane forest, alpine forest, tidal forest. These are all the natural vegetations of India. Tomorrow's assignment question is type of forest in India you must want to write. So watch the video, hear the video carefully and write the 5 types of forest, natural vegetations. You must want to write the types of forest you must want to write.
Let us learn the chapter Natural Vegetation. So, what is natural vegetation? Natural vegetation refers to the plant community. Whenever this plant community grows in any region on its own, then we can call it as natural vegetation. It is made up of different kind of trees, plants, creepers and bushes. So in a way we can say all natural vegetations are forest. But all forests are not natural vegetation because there are times where a forest has been developed. So when a forest is developed by afforestation, social forestry or any other means, then it cannot be called a natural vegetation. Now there are different types of vegetation and they can broadly be classified into 5 main regions. So the 5 major vegetation regions in India are: first one is tropical evergreen forest, then it is tropical deciduous forest, tropical desert forest, littoral forest, montane forest, So these are the 5 broad classifications of vegetation types. Talking about the first one, and that is evergreen forest. Now, evergreen forest, the name itself tells that these forests are always green. The reason is different trees have different timings for shedding their leaves. That is why they appear green in color. Second, they are found in heavy rainfall areas. That is, the areas which receive rainfall more than 200 centimeters. India is a tropical country, and we find evergreen forests in the regions which have a mean annual temperature above 22 degrees Celsius. And as it is, leaving Jammu, Kashmir and Uttarakhand regions, almost all the regions experience this temperature. The good thing about this forest is the trees are in layers, that is, they are stratified. The first one is the forest floor. Above that comes shrubs and creepers, which is referred to as understory. Then it is short structured trees, which is referred to as canopy. Then it is the tall variety of trees, which are referred to as emergents. The trees rise up to a height of more than 60 meters. And if we see the wood in these areas, the wood is mostly hardwood. They are fine grained. Fine grained means if you cut it, it will be very smooth. That's why it can be used for making furniture. Now they cannot be commercially exploited because they are in the form of tangled mass of canes, palms, bamboos, ferns, and even climbers. And most of the evergreen forest is found on the mountain slopes. So we can say there is lack of means of transport. This is the reason why evergreen forest is not fully exploited. Now the main species, main varieties of trees that are found here are ebony, mahogany, rosewood. Now it is called rosewood because if you cut it, inside it has a rose color. These are some names of the trees that are found in these areas. So if I sum up the characteristics of evergreen forest, they are: first one, they are found in warm and humid areas with an annual rainfall of more than 200 centimeters. The mean annual temperature is about 22 degrees Celsius. They are well stratified layers, that is in the form of forest floor, shrubs and creepers, that is understory, short structured trees, that is canopy, and the tall variety of trees, which is referred to as emergent. The height of the tree goes more than 60 meters, and there is no definite time for the trees to shed their leaves, for flowering, or even for fruition, that is to fruits to develop. The main species of wood that is found here is rosewood, mahogany, amy, ebony. Now where are evergreen forests found? First thing is they are found on the western side of the Western Ghats because they are heavy rainfall areas. Then it is in the northeastern hilly areas. So these are the main regions where we find evergreen forest. Then we also find evergreen forest in Andaman and Nicobar Islands. To an extent, we can also say it is Lakshadweep Islands. Now we also have semi-evergreen forests. These are found in less rainy part of these regions. Such forests have a mixture of evergreen and moist deciduous trees. The undergrowing climbers provide an evergreen character to this forest. And the main species that are found here are cedar, hollock, and kyle. Then we come to the deciduous forest. Now, the deciduous forests are forests which shed their leaves completely once in a year. So the entire forest will appear leafless. And this starts happening from the beginning of summer. Now the trees are aware that they have to pass through dry summer season when there is acute shortage of water. So the trees absorb the nutrients from the leaves. So the leaves dry up and then they finally fall down. When they fall down, it is good because they are helpful in forming manure. Now maximum part of India has this type of forest, that is deciduous forest. The deciduous forest can be broadly divided into moist deciduous forest and dry deciduous forest based on the rainfall. The moist deciduous forest is found in the regions where the rainfall is between 100 to 200 centimeters. And a dry deciduous forest is found in the regions where the rainfall is between 70 to 100 centimeters. So moist deciduous forests are found in the rainier areas of the peninsula and the plains of Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, in the higher rainfall regions of the Peninsular Plateau and even the northern Indian plains. So let us sum up the characteristics of moist deciduous forest. First one, they are found in the regions where the rainfall is between 100 to 200 centimeters. The subsoil water, that is underground water, is not enough for the trees to keep their leaves all the year round. So the trees in these forests shed their leaves during early summer and when the storage of water is acute. A particular species can be found over a large area, and that is why they can be commercially exploited. The important trees that are found here are teak, sal, shisham, mahua, amla, semul, kusum, sandalwood. Now we shall learn about the tropical desert forest. When I talk about the tropical desert forest, they are mainly found in the regions where the rainfall is less than 50 centimeters. These regions experience a dry summer for a long period. They consist of a variety of grasses and shrubs called as scrub vegetation because they are found in the low rainfall areas. The vegetation is mainly xerophyte in nature. That is, they will have thorns, they will have small leaves. If the leaves are very big like cactus, they will be fleshy and thick. The roots will be going deep in the ground. The reason is they have to get water in regions of low rainfall. The vegetation that is seen in these regions are babool, ber, wild date palm. Then it is kher, neem, khejri, palash, and even cactus. Now, where are they found? They are found in the semi-arid areas of Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Gujarat, and Madhya Pradesh. The next we learn about littoral and swamp forests. These are basically of two types. One, they are found near the freshwater swamps and they are found near the saltwater swamps. They are found in the coastline of India and wherever the seawater is entering the land in the form of creeks. Then they are found in the deltas, estuaries, lagoons. These forests are evergreen and they have roots. The roots that are exposed whenever there is a low tide because the water retreats. And when these roots are exposed, these roots can breathe. So they are special roots. The reason is there is not enough soil cover in the regions of littoral forest. And that is why the roots don't go deep in that. And that is why the roots don't go deep inside the soil. Now, the wetlands in our country have been categorized into 8 types. So, the littoral and swamp forests, where are they found in India? They are found in the reservoirs of the Deccan Plateau, in the south, together with the lagoons and wetlands of the southwestern coast. So, southwestern coast is the Malabar coast along Kerala. In Deccan Plateau region, we have plenty of tanks. Tanks are the depressions. They are found in the vast saline expanses of Rajasthan, Gujarat, and Gulf of Kutch. When I say Gulf means a small water body surrounded by land from 3 sides. In India, we have Gulf of Kutch, Gulf of Khambat, and Gulf of Mannar. Then we have freshwater lake reservoir from Gujarat, eastward through Rajasthan. Then the Keolado National Park, and even Madhya Pradesh. We also see them in the delta wetlands and lagoons of India, which lie to the east, and they are Sundarbans, which is a part of the largest delta in the world, shared by India and Bangladesh. Chilka Lake, which is a lagoon. Lagoon is a shallow water body near the coastal areas. And the water in this area is brackish because the sea water mixes with it. Brackish means salty, but not as salty as seawater. Then it is Koleru. Koleru is a freshwater lake. Then it is Pulicat, and Pulicat again is a lagoon. They are found in the fresh water marshes of Gangetic Plain. These are referred to as Tarai regions. And in the Tarai regions, you will find settlements. You will find a lot of land converted into agricultural lands. But still there are marshy areas in these regions. So we will find them even in these areas. Then there are floodplains of Brahmaputra. So floodplain means the regions near the rivers which regularly gets flooded. So floodplains are the regions that are close to the river. They are found in the river valleys and in the rainy season they get flooded. Northeastern India and the Himalayan foothills. Lakes and the rivers of the mountain region of Kashmir and Ladakh. Mangrove forest and other wetlands of island areas of Andaman and Nicobar Islands. The mangroves even grow along the coast in the salt marshes. Tidal creeks, that is creeks that are subjected to high tide and low tide. Mud flats, these are generally found near the coastal areas. And estuaries. So whenever a river is flowing, it will form either delta or estuary. When I say delta, the water spreads in the form of distributaries and channels. And estuary, the river directly comes and meets the sea. So a small part of the river, which is the mouth of the river, whenever there is a high tide, the sea water enters that part of the river, and that is referred to as estuary, where the sea water and the fresh water mixes. Now in India, the mangrove forests are spread over 6,740 square kilometers, which is 7% of the world's mangrove forest. They are highly developed in Andaman and Nicobar Islands and the Sundarbans of West Bengal. Other areas of significance are Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna. Now there are deltas formed at the mouth of the river, that is at the ending part of the river, where the river meets the sea, that is Bay of Bengal. So they have formed deltas. Even in these areas, we will find mangroves. Now these forests are also being encroached upon, and that is why they need conservation. Next comes the montane forest. The montane forest can be classified into two types. One is the northern mountain forest and the second one is the southern mountain forest. In case of the northern mountain forest, if you look at carefully, the type of vegetation changes with increasing height. The reason is with increasing height, there is a fall in the temperature. So there is a change in the temperature and precipitation. Now if we go from bottom to top in the Himalayas, at the foothills we will mainly find deciduous forests. As we go a little up, that is between 1000 to 2000, we will find wet temperate forest. Then between 1500 to 1750, we will find pine trees or the pine forest in the form of chir pine, deodhar, chinar and the walnut. In West Bengal, in Uttarakhand and West Bengal, we also find evergreen broadleaf trees of oak and chestnut. Then as we go a little above, that is between 2225 to 3048 meters, we'll find blue pine and spruce. Then we go still higher, 3000 to 4000 meters, we will find alpine forest and pastures. Here the trees that are found are silver fir, juniper, pines, birch, rhododendrons. Then as we go still above, we will find flowers. Then it is moss and lichens. They are referred to as lichens or lichens. And this is what I am referring to, tundra vegetation. And beyond that there is only snow. The snow line begins. The southern mountains include Western Ghat, Eastern Ghat, Vindhyas, Satpura, Maikal Range, and Nilgiris. Now, in the southern mountain forest, three distinct areas of peninsular India can be seen. One is the Western Ghat, then it is the Vindhyas, and third one is the Nilgiris. Now, when it comes to Western Ghat, they are closer to the tropics and only 1,500 meters above sea level. So the vegetation is temperate type in the higher regions and subtropical on the lower regions of Western Ghat, especially in Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and Karnataka. The temperate forests are called sholas in Nilgiri, Anamalai, and even Palani Hills. Some of the other trees of this forest of economic significance include magnolia, laurel, cinchona, and wattle. Now, such forests are also found in Satpura and Maikal ranges. So, this is the end of part 1. Thank you.
Wildlife. The term wildlife includes animals of any habitat. Natural vegetations refers to plant community. Wildlife includes animals of any habitat in nature. Wild animals or non-domesticated animals. Not the domesticated animals, wild animals or non-domesticated animals. It can't be kept in our home like cat, dog. So it is kept in, it is only in the forest. Wild animals or non-domesticated animals and include both vertebrates. For example, vertebrates examples are fish, reptiles, birds, and mammals. These belongs to the vertebrates and invertebrates. Invertebrates are bees, butterflies, moths, etc. So, in this, wild animals are not domesticated animals and include both vertebrates and invertebrates. And at the same time, India has a rich and diversified wildlife. Our country is home to tigers, lions, leopards, snow leopards, pythons, wolves, foxes, bears, crocodiles, rhinoceros, camels, wild dogs, monkeys, snakes, antelope, species, deer, species, varieties of bisons, and mighty Asian elephant. Due to hunting and deforestation, many of the natural habitats were facing the danger of extinctions. The Indian Board for Wildlife, IBWL. The Indian Board for Wildlife, IBWL. It was constituted in 1952 to suggest means of protection, conservation, and management of wildlife to the government. To protect the wild animals, the Indian government has constituted in 1952 for what and all protection, conservation, and management of wildlife to the government. And at the same time, an act was passed in 1972, Protection Act. Government of India enacted Wildlife Protection Act in 1972 with the objective of effectively protecting the wildlife of the country and to control poaching, smuggling, and illegal trade in wildlife and its diversities. To preserve the country's rich and diverse wildlife, a network of 102 national parks and about 515 wildlife sanctuaries across the country have been created. In our country, 102 national parks, about 515 wildlife sanctuaries across the countries have been created. Biosphere reserves. Biosphere reserves means it is the protected areas of land coastal environments. Biosphere reserves are protected areas of land coastal environment. Indian government established 18 biosphere reserves in India, which protect large areas of natural habitat, which often include few national parks and buffer zones that are open to some economic uses. Biosphere reserves in India, 11 of 18 biosphere reserves. Gulf of Mannar, Nanda Devi, the Nilgiris, Sundarbans, Agastyamalai, Great Nicobar, Kanchenjunga of India fall under the list of Man and Biosphere Program of UNESCO. United Nations Education, Scientific, Cultural Organization. Project Tiger was launched in April 1973 with the aim to conserve tiger population, specifically constituted tiger reserves in India. Okay, let me recall the Unit 2, Geography Unit 2 lesson. Climate of India is labeled as tropical, monsoon type. Climate and natural vegetation of India, we are going to recall. Climate of India is labeled as tropical, monsoon type. And at the same time, there are 4 seasons in India. They are winter season, hot weather, southwest monsoon, northeast monsoon. Natural vegetations refer to plant community. At the same time, wildlife refers to animals. And natural vegetations can be classified as tropical evergreen forest, tropical deciduous forest, tropical dry forest, desert and semi-desert vegetation, mountain forest, alpine forest, tidal forest, etc. Biosphere reserves are protected area of land coastal environmental whereby people are an integral component of a system. And the factors affecting the climate are latitude, altitude, distance from the sea, monsoon wind, relief, jet streams. And at the same time, monsoon in India, there are monsoons, seasons, winter, summer, southwest monsoon and northeast monsoon seasons. And distribution of the rainfall, some of the regions in India receives more rainfall and some of the regions in India receives less rainfall. So in India there is the uneven distributions of the rainfall. Natural vegetations, already we have seen that natural vegetations refers to the plant community. And at the same time, wildlife refers to the animal community. Wildlife refers to the animals community. In this, wild animals are non-domesticated animals, and at the same time it includes both vertebrates and invertebrates. And Indian Board of Wildlife, we have seen biosphere reserves in India, we have seen